Okay, let's talk about 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of the most expensive BMX bikes that you can buy in 2023. The only companies that make bikes that are like really high-end pro level completes are going to be Fly, Sunday, and We the People. But honestly guys, if you're like new to the sport, you don't need a super crazy expensive bike. Depending on your skill level, depending on your weight, you can get by with a $500, $600, $700 bike. You don't, so like when you watch this, don't think, oh my God, I need to spend $1,300 on a bike. That's not the case. But if you can, and you plan to ride for a very long time, it is a good way to go because then you're less likely to be replacing parts, all right? Okay, anyway, the first bike we want to talk about here on the list is the Sunday Wavelength. This is an all-new 2023 BMX bike. It is Gary Young's signature bike. This is Gary Young's signature bike. And essentially, if you guys watch the video of Gary talking about it, it's essentially the SOUNDWAVE with a longer back end. We'll talk about the back end in a minute, but the SOUNDWAVE Special has always been Gary Young's signature bike. And what he said is they changed the dimensions on the chainstay, and for him to ride the SOUNDWAVE, they had to modify it for him a little bit so he didn't feel like he was gonna loop out all the time. And so anyway, they made him his like special Sunday SOUNDWAVEs with a really long back end, and it was a little different than what they were selling to the public. And so what they decided to do this year is like, hey, let's just make a wavelength frame that is very similar to the SOUNDWAVE, just with a longer chainstay. We'll make a wavelength complete. That'll be your complete, and then we'll have something a little bit different from the SOUNDWAVE, okay? And so this is the wavelength, $1,249, but it's going to be aftermarket full chromoly frame, aftermarket full chromoly forks with the 41 thermal lifetime warranty, aftermarket Superhighway handlebars. These also have the 41 thermal lifetime warranty. It comes with the caliber cranks. Yeah, the caliber cranks, these don't have the lifetime warranty like the Thunderbolts, but it does have the hazard light rims. So this is it's an incredibly solid bike. I mean, essentially all of these bikes are like, if you ordered something, if you ordered each part individually and built up a fully custom bike like these bikes behind me, this is what you'd end up with. And the way Sunday does it, the way We the People does it, and the way Fly does it is essentially you get a really good discount if you buy the pro level complete version. If you bought all these parts separately, I'd say it'd probably cost you like maybe $1,500, and so that's crazy because this is only $1,249, right? Now, if you buy it, build it yourself, you can change things like get a little bit taller bars or get, you know, cranks with a warranty or whatever. But anyway, this is the wavelength, and the most distinguishing factor about it is 13.65 to 14-inch chainstay. It's insane. To me, that's insane. I think the one I have, the Darkwave frame that I have is 13.2 to 13.5. And so if you run it all the way back, it's 13.5. On the Wavelength, if you run it all the way back, it's 14 inches. And that's just incredibly stable. They are, honestly, this is the only complete bike with a chainstay that long. And so pulling back, getting into manuals is going to be a little bit harder, but the stability and the control that you have with this bike is crazy. And so if you like to go high, you like to go fast like Gary Young, you will be you will be very happy on this bike. So anyway, that's the Wavelength. It's a solid bike, and the review video for the Wavelength is coming out very soon. Number 2 on the list is going to be the We the People Envy, or the Envy Carbonic. The Envy Carbonic isn't really out and available to dealers yet, so there's still not a whole lot of information. It's essentially in the US. I think I've seen them out in the UK, but not in the US yet. But anyway, this bike is always one of the highest up on the list in terms of quality, like what I'm talking about. Somebody's like, what's the best quality bike I can get? The We the People Envy comes up because just look at it. All right, let's just take a moment and appreciate the beauty. Wow. 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 Okay, so that's a beautiful bike, right? $1,300, $1,299. I did a video kind of comparing the SOUNDWAVE and the Envy and break down like the cost essentially of each part individually. And the Envy was very expensive. It was a lot more than this $1,300, but so is the SOUNDWAVE. And they have a lifetime guarantee on the frame and the forks. So you don't get, it's, I don't know, you could chalk it up to We the People has different wording about that. It's like a guarantee is very similar to a lifetime warranty in their opinion. What I always chalk it up to is like, a guarantee in my head is a guarantee against manufacturer defects. Most bikes, most parts are gonna have a guarantee against manufacturer defects. And if you have an issue and you're able to prove, hey, this is like your manufacturer's problem, they're gonna take care of you. Whereas the way Sunday talks about their 41 thermal warranty is like, yo, if you have an issue with it, we'll take care of you. Now, I've heard some bad things about them trying to back out of it and different things, and We the People going ahead and taking care of the customer no matter what. But it all comes down to your guys' experience and your bike shop and everything like that. Anyway, the Envy has the, oh my God, has the full chromoly We the People Envy XLT frame. It's got hydroform gussets, which is right here. You see this down tube where it comes together? I think that's it. They're hydroformed. It's a different type of welding in a sense that's ideally stronger. We the People does that a lot with their stuff. And says he has the We the People lemon. Bro, that's not good. Anyway, it's hydroformed. It's theoretically a lot stronger and lighter the way that they do that. It's got 6mm dropouts, so they're less likely to bend. It's got the We the People Storm XLT forks that are post-liquid, heat-treated butted Senko tubing. Anyway, if you guys, there's a more in-depth review on this where I talk about the breakdown, but essentially, just like I said earlier, if you walk into a We the People warehouse and you're like, oh wow, let me grab this $400 frame, let me grab these $160 forks, let me grab these $90 bars, let me get a headset, let me get this $60 chain, and you just like grab all these pieces, this is what you're gonna end up with. The Envy's an insane bike, and no one that I know has had any issues with it. It rides good, it's light, like what is it, 24.38 pounds? Man, it's insane. One downfall, it doesn't come with any pegs, but it does come with hub guards. And you also have one more color option. Oh no, this is the 21. Yeah, so 20.5 or 21 inch top tube. All right, number 3, another We the People bike, the Battleship. The Battleship's a little bit cheaper than the Envy. There are just a few parts here that aren't the same level of quality, but with the Battleship, you're gonna get pegs, you're gonna get hub guards, and I don't know why, but you guys, what do you guys think about this color? Personally, I love it. I just, it's very simple, but the mismatch adds a good amount of contrast, and I've always loved this colorway. It's one of my favorites. They have an abyss blue. All right, and so again, let's just appreciate it real quick. All right. This is a beautiful bike. It's got the Battleship aftermarket frame, again with the hydroform gussets right here and here on the top tube. So you see how they're hydroformed there. That's an interesting look, and it gives the We the People bikes a very unique look. You've got very wide 100 PSI Eclat decoder tires. This bike is heavy though. And this is without brakes and with pegs. So almost 28 pounds. It's a lot heavier than the Envy, but again, it has 4 pegs. The Envy doesn't have any pegs. And yeah, when we look at the geometry, what you'll notice is this is a lot different from the Wavelength. On center, the chainstay is only 13 inches, where the Wavelength was 13.7 on center. It's crazy. This bike is gonna be way more responsive. It's got a snappy responsive 75.5 degree head tube angle and a short responsive chainstay. Spins are gonna feel easy on it. Nose manuals are gonna feel easy. It's a responsive street bike, and it's very expensive. Last one, wait, no. Number 4. Number 4 is the Sunday Darkwave Authentic. I was just talking about the Darkwave because that's the frame I built up. I pretty much copied a lot of this bike when I built up my own. Caliber cranks, Darkwave frame, and I love it because it comes in a 21.25 inch top tube. But here's some interesting things. Darkwave review video is gonna come up after the Wavelength, I think. I think it's gonna be Darkwave is gonna come up after the SOUNDWAVE. Anyway, in about a week, the Darkwave will be up. The in-depth review. $1,300, aftermarket frame, forks with the 41 thermal lifetime warranty, bars 41 thermal lifetime warranty, double wall, super high-end rims. It's a very good bike. What's unique about it this year is, one, I don't like the colorway. I really liked the color last year. I'm not a fan of this color this year. But what I think is even more wacky, this is just wacky in my opinion, the way Sunday does this, very wacky, is if you get the right-hand drive, let me make sure that that's right. Okay, yeah, if you get the right-hand drive bike, it's a 21-inch top tube, okay? But if you get the 21.25-inch top tube, it's a left-hand drive this year. And Kirk, I know you're in here. I know you're gonna have something to say about that. What do you guys think about that? So if you wanna ride a right-hand drive bike, you've gotta get a 21-inch top tube. If you wanna ride the left-hand drive bike, you gotta get the 21.25. It's good because there are only a small handful of complete bikes that come with a top tube size over 21. You've got the Darkwave with 21.25, the Sabrosa Tyro XXL with 21.33, and the Fit Trail XXL with 21.25. And those are really the only options over 21. And so I appreciate that. But now you can only do that if you want left-hand drive. Otherwise you're stuck with the 21 in right-hand drive. It's a little wacky, and you know, it is what it is. I don't know how that's gonna work for them. Ideally, I guess it doesn't matter too much whether it's right-hand drive or left-hand drive, because it comes with 4 pegs and you can grind on whatever side. The sprocket has a bash guard. Like, I guess it's not that big of a deal, but I just think it just adds so much more complexity to buying a bike. It makes it so much harder. But anyway, it has a free toaster, has hazard light rims, like I said. The geometry is pretty stable here, except the slightly more responsive head tube angle. That is the Sunday Darkwave. Don't love the color, but I love the bike. I love the build. It's built up for a bigger rider for street riding. 4 pegs, hub guards, free coaster. It's nice. Okay, next on the list, number 5 is a fly bike. The Fly SAVANNA. Check out, Fly always kills it with their pictures. Just look at these pictures. It's Courage Adams' signature bike, and basically if you buy this bike, you're gonna be able to nose manual for a very long time. That's just, it's a guarantee with We The People. If you buy this bike and you can't nose manual, I think they said like money back guarantee or something like that. I'm totally kidding, but it would be cool. Look at how clean these forks come together in this head tube. Just look at that. The attention to detail on the Fly bikes, I'm incredibly impressed with. And now, yes, this is a $1,300 bike, $1,239. You can choose which top tube size you want. Okay, that's pretty normal, but you can choose the bar height. Like, oh yeah, I want a 21 with 10-inch bars on the left-hand drive in gloss dark gold. Absolutely. And to me, that's a game changer. It's being able to fine tune those small changes. And I think it makes it's easier because Fly is selling direct to consumer. In the US, it's really hard to find Fly bikes from a dealer. And so they're able to do these things. Maybe they build them up before they send them. I don't know what they do. I don't know how it's efficient, but it works for them, okay? And again, this is the SAVANNA BMX bike with the aftermarket Fly SAVANNA full 4130 chromoly frame. It's got aftermarket Volcano forks, SAVANNA bars. It's very similar to the We The Peoples and the Sundays, just from Fly, okay? And again, the attention to detail is one of the things that I'm most impressed with. We got a drive side hub guard, we got chain tensioners, we got pegs. Crazy. Is that, oh my God, look at this seat. Crazy. So anyway, I like this bike. I think it's insane, and it's a little bit heavy, but it's a very, very nice BMX bike, and but it's also very expensive. The next one on the list is going to be the Fly MOTOSIERRA, which is a lot different. Actually, I lied. When I said the Darkwave was one of the few over 21, Fly bikes does have some, and look at these. 21 is the smallest option in the MOTOSIERRA. 21.4 is the next option, or 21.8. You can't find a complete bike anywhere that comes in 21.8. You just can't. You can't. That's insane. That's almost 22 inches. And for someone tall like Kirk, that would be insane. Kirk might like this bike. It's a little bit heavy compared to his titanium build. What is it? 25.2, that's not bad, honestly. But anyway, let's take a quick look at the attention to detail. We got brakes on the bottom here, and this is something I'm gonna bet. I'm gonna bet it's not 25.9. Yeah, it's a 32th sprocket. So one thing you guys have to note, I mean, you won't run into this issue very often, I don't think, but I saw somebody post on Facebook, they did an upgrade on their bike and they went to a 25.9 gearing ratio versus what, like the big sprocket that comes on lower end bikes, and they converted it to a 25.9. And what they ran into is that with 25.9, their chain hit their brakes down here. And that's why you're gonna see brakes on most bikes. Damn, there's no brakes on any of these. But you're gonna see the brakes on most bikes up here because you don't have to worry about any kind of clearance. Sometimes you can get by with 25.9 if your brake mounts are on the bottom, but just a heads up, keep that in mind. MOTOSIERRA is built for going high and going fast. You like to ride trails, you like to ride bowls like Dovey, this is what this bike is built for. It's a very long, very stable geometry. Look at this, 14-inch chainstay. I was just, god damn it, I've contradicted myself twice in this video. Look, I haven't studied fly bikes very often. Like if you ask me about a Sabrosa bike, boom, comes right out of the mental file. Sunday, Fit, Kink, like all these ingrained in my head. Fly, I'm not very familiar with yet, so be patient with me, all right? Be patient. But anyway, it does have a crazy long chainstay like the Wavelength, 14 inches, and I'm gonna guess that that's 14 inches on center. So technically if you add another link and you pull that back wheel back even farther, add another half link, you're gonna get a longer chainstay than 14. For my type of riding, this would be too crazy for me. I really liked riding like the 20.7 frame with the 12.7 inch chainstay. I liked that responsiveness, double whips felt good, but maybe I could air like Dovey on something like this. I don't know. It's a full chromoly, frame, forks, bars, cranks, everything's aftermarket on this bike. It's insane if you are serious about the sport. Again, I want to stress to you guys, if you guys you love the sport, but you're not sure how long you're going to stay in it, honestly, it's better to buy a cheaper bike as you get into it, as you figure out what you like about it. And then from there, if you're like, yes, this is my sport, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life, buy a really high-end bike. Number 2, 4, 6, 7 on the list is the Sunday SOUNDWAVE Special. This one has to be on the list. And you know, I said I hated the Darkwave colorway in 2023. I really like the SOUNDWAVE colorway in 2023. Black, simple, looks good. The graphics look good. The silver chain pops. This is a very nice looking bike. And one thing I'm always impressed with, two things I'm always impressed with the SOUNDWAVE is the weight. Look at this, 23.4 pounds, very light. That's great. You don't find hardly any complete bikes that light. Now this is borderline not a complete bike, but it is, you know, it is a complete bike, okay? It comes with 2 hub guards on the front and a non-drive side on the rear, and I'm pretty sure the rear is an Odyssey clutch V2 free toaster. Left-hand drive or right-hand drive, those are your 2 options. $1,300. But the second thing I like about this bike, so the first thing I said was the weight. The second thing I like, full chromoly aftermarket frame with the 41 thermal lifetime warranty. Full chromoly aftermarket forks with the 41 thermal lifetime warranty. Full chromoly aftermarket bars with the 41 thermal lifetime warranty. Full chromoly Odyssey Thunderbolt V2 cranks with the 41 thermal lifetime warranty. So those are like, think about this, guys, think about this. You buy a frame, you buy a $500 BMX bike with a full chromoly frame. You break your full chromoly frame because it's not heat treated, because it's not Senko tubing, whatever. It's not the same level as aftermarket quality. So you break your full chromoly frame on your $500 bike, all right? That sucks. You break your full chromoly frame, you've got to replace it. It is not cheap. You're gonna spend a ton of money to replace that. You're gonna pay almost what you paid for the whole bike to replace your frame. If you plan to ride for a long time, it's very important to buy a bike that's gonna last for the longevity of what you wanna ride. Okay, because just imagine this, you buy your $500 bike, in 1 year, you ride really hard, you get really good, but you break your frame. So now in a year, you're gonna spend $300-400 to replace your frame. Now you've spent $900 in total. Had you just spent $1,300 on a bike with a lifetime warranty on the frame, forks, bars, cranks, you're set. Man, you're completely set. And that's not even to say, okay, what if your forks break another month after? Like now you're at $1,100. You're getting so close to this one price, this bike's gonna last forever. And I just wanna stress that if you're serious about it, like save up a few extra $100 and get something that's gonna last for you, okay? I just really wanna stress that. I don't want you guys to get the wrong bike. But the SOUNDWAVE is to me always at the top of the list because of that lifetime warranty on the frame, forks, bars, and cranks. You can't beat that. You can't find any other complete bike that would remotely match that. Now, if the geometry is not right for you, the color is not right for you, you have lots of other options of high-end bikes with lifetime guarantees on certain parts. But anyway, you can't go wrong with that. Okay, bike number 1, no, 8. I don't know which way I was counting. Bike number 8. We threw on the We the People Revolver. This bike is going to be very similar to the MOTOSIERRA or the Darkwave in terms of geometry. It's a lot more stable. It's a lot more controlled. It's got full 4130 chromoly frame. It's got a bigger gear ratio. This one scores very high in dirt on the Dougsterbob score. And that's because of the geometry, the gear ratio, and the way that it's built for dirt riding. I'm not a fan of this color. It's not bad, but it just wouldn't be my color, you know? So some people love this. Comes with 2 pegs, comes with the Eclop Pulse hub, and this is a great bike, man. It's beautiful. It is fairly light without pegs, or without brakes, but with pegs. But check this out, we got a 13.2 to 13.75 inch chainstay, very similar to the Darkwave. We've got a smaller or a more mellow head tube angle, 74.75. It's got a lower bottom bracket height that is going to get your feet closer to the ground like a scooter, so you feel more stable, you feel more controlled. But everything is aftermarket, everything is strong, everything is full chromoly. This bike's built to last, and it's only $1,239.